Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of the 4x4 Fab Shop. And today we're going to go over welding some cast aluminum. So we're going to simulate you have an oil pan and something knocked a hole in it or cracked it, right? So how do you fix it? Now I'll tell you, this is not a how to weld video. When you're welding cast aluminum, there's a lot of impurities that come up in it. It welds like pure crap. So I'll be the first to tell you that sometimes my welds aren't the prettiest welds in the world, but when you're welding cast, it's hard to get a good looking weld out of that, because as you're going, pulling up all those impurities. And try to remember, this was an oil pan for decades. Heat, oil, dirt, grime, it's all getting pulled through those pores. And when you start welding, you're going to start pulling all that stuff out. So as we go through this, just keep in mind that this isn't dime stacking on nice virgin material. You're repairing something that's broke, and we're going to show you how you can go about fixing it so it's functional. Right? These are not Instagram photos we're taking. So let's dive in. This is just a mid-year GM oil pan that we knocked a hole in. You can see it a little better from the inside there. So what we'll do is we'll come in here, we'll flatten this out, we'll drill the cracks, and then weld it up. Alright, so first things first, let's just try to get the damage, at least right now the material's crowned up on the inside. Let's get it flattened out. And if we had to, we could always cut this whole area out and weld in a whole new section also. Okay, that flattened it out. Now let's get rid of some of the oxide on the outside. So I'm just going to use a green Scotch-Brite pad. We'll clean up what's on the outside. Get the inside. Alright, so the whole purpose of cleaning this up so that I can identify where all the where the ends of the cracks are. So I think what we're going to do with the way this is spidered, we're going to drill the ends out, and instead of chasing all these cracks, we're actually going to come in and lay a piece in over the top of this and just weld that in place. Alright, so we're going to center punch the ends of it for drill starts. So if you like videos for repairing cast aluminum, at the end of this I'll put a link for actually repair a piece that was broke off. So I'm going to cut a piece out of some aluminum angle that I have. Let's call it let's make it 1 by 2.5. Goes pretty quick. Okay, and these are just core out holes from when they cast apart, so they're not functional. So what we'll do is we'll clean this up, and we'll come in and we'll just weld that piece in. Now what we're going to use is some of Rockmount's Neptune TIG. Very strong wire. I'll put some information in the descriptions about it. But Rockmount is known for maintenance repairs, hard to weld things, that kind of stuff. And this Neptune TIG wire wets out real easy, flows real good, so it'll do a great job for this. Alright, so we're going to brush this real good. Just using a stainless brush. Now this is going to be a lot harder to get in here, so going one direction may not be an option. You can see those two core out areas that we're talking about, here and here. We're going to be able to get that clean. We'll just wipe it all down with acetone. Alright, so we'll wipe all this down real good with acetone. I have done some cleaning inside of this already because it was just so full of oil and goo. Okay, next we gotta brush our patch piece. And then we sanded it. Still gonna brush it a little bit. Now we are going to be using the Miller 220, obviously AC machine, great multi-process. Now the big thing is, even when we're welding this, you got to drill out those cracks. So even on this one, we're going to have to flow over that hole I drilled. And we're going to have to preheat this a little bit. Now, if you wipe your materials down, you also need to wipe your rod down because you may not think it, but welding TIG rod has oxide on it too. So there's plenty of oxide in there as well. Alright, we're going to preheat this just a little bit. So right now it's on about 99 degrees. That's how hot it is in this garage. Now one thing you always need to check and make sure you're welding aluminum, so you don't grab a magnesium part and start welding on it. Okay, so that's 200 degrees. Okay, so it's hard to see, but as you're welding, you're pulling up all these impurities. The rod, it wants to flow, but you got all this garbage floating around in it, right? And the patch I put on there could have been a little bit thinner, might have made it a little bit easier, but it's on. I'm quite certain it'll hold. All right, so that was just fixing a aluminum oil pan. We just welded a patch on top of it. And a few things that I do when I weld cast aluminum, I turn my frequency down a little bit. So one of the things I do when I weld cast is I turn my frequency down and my balance down. You got to remember, a lot of times this stuff has a lot of impurities in it. This thing has spent decades as an oil pan, so that stuff is just baked into it. Heat and cooled, and it's in the pores. So as you're welding it, it's just pulling up all kinds of garbage. Now, this Neptune TIG from Rockmount, it does a really good job of flowing, but it's still flowing in all the garbage. So when you're welding cast, don't expect those nice stack of dimes that you see on everything. That's good, clean material. Not saying you can't do it, because I know what'll happen. I'm going to get 20 comments saying I stack dimes on that all day long. But try some of this Rockmount wire. You know, we are a Rockmount affiliate. And if you need any information on this, I'll put it in the descriptions. And if you need some information on the welder I'm using, which is a Miller 220, I'll see you in this video. And if you want some other examples of welding aluminum brackets and stuff like that, I'll leave a link here. I'll see you in that one. So this has been another edition of the 4x4 Fab Shop. We're just fixing old oil pans. And remember, you're fixing something that was junk. It was already broke. So your worst case, you salvage it. If not, well, it's still broke. So hope you like the content. And please subscribe. Give me some comments and feedbacks. We're always looking for ways to improve or more things to do. So until then, I'll see you in the next build. 4x4 Fab Shop.